Hi, Diane here. This is the continuation of the story of the sad, sad quilt that can't get finished. Very sad story. Let me fill you in if you hadn't heard it before. Here's one of the strips. Okay. Here's what I think the problem is. These pieces of the quilt have been sewn together on a number of different sewing machines and a number of different times over about an 18-month period. I don't think that's the best way to sew a quilt. As a matter of fact, as you can see, this one's pretty wavy. This one hasn't been straightened yet. Okay, this quilt, I've explained to some of my followers before, had been all sewn together actually, and it was so wonky we couldn't deal. Let me turn on the light in this part of the cellar. I probably shouldn't call it the cellar. I should call it the studio. Okay, here it is. Top half is put together, and you can see all the crooked parts and the space. It's just not straight. But you know what? It's beyond all hope. I need to finish it. I wanted to finish it by last weekend. This is Tuesday, 4th of July. Happy Independence Day, everyone. I am, as I said, needing to finish this. These rows are together. Let's see if I can show you what's not together. This needs a strip between, and this needs a strip between, and I have one on the cutting table that needs to get the black edges sewn onto it, and that's what I'm doing at my sewing machine right now. It started on the Elna, then I might have sewn some of it on the Brother, and now it's on the Singer 301. The Singer 301 is the one I want to finish it on, so that's what we're doing. I'm going to set this back up and show you what I'm talking about in 1 second. Okay, so here's the deal. My quilt width should be 57 inches. So I'm cutting my 1-inch sashing strips to 57 inches. And by hook or by crook, these blocks are going to fit onto the 57-inch strip. I keep sewing and re-sewing and adjusting the size of blocks. That's not the way to go. You just make it fit. At this point in time, I can't throw it away. I'm not like that. I can't throw away all that fabric. Plus, I kind of like the way it looks. So let me show what I'm doing. Here I am. Okay, hang on. Now I'm back. I'm not sure if I'm... Not that you have to see me. You don't actually have to see me, just have to see what I did. What I am doing is this. I could probably use a zoom in, right? Yeah. Let's see. There we go. We'll get that close, and we'll get a little closer in so that you can see where my machine is. Sorry about this. I should probably do it this way. You can tell I'm not showing you anything about photography in this video. Okay. There we are. Sorry about all that noise. You may be able to see what I've done. I don't think it can get any closer than that. Oh yeah, it can. Alright, this might help, just like this. What I have done is I have ensured that this 57-inch black piece of sashing is going to fit along the blocks, and at the same time I'm trying to match the longer pieces of sashing that go in this direction. These still have the pin. Oh my goodness, no, that's not one. Here, this is one. This needs to match. Hopefully it does when I get the pins out. So what I've had to do, let me sew a little ways and I'll show you. The reason I have excess, right here you can see, I don't know if you can see, but there's excess fabric there. So when you have excess fabric, separate the space from where you're from what is already stitched to where you're going, and stick a pin in the middle of it. And you can ride right over those pins, and that helps you to ease so that where you want, I'm going really wonky in my seam sewing too. It's supposed to be 1/4 inch. Okay, so You can pull the pins out in advance if you're worried about sewing on them, but you really don't have to. As long as if your pins are perpendicular to the needle, you don't usually break things. Okay, here again, I divided the space, put a pin in the middle, and eased it in. So we're hoping that this is going to turn out appropriately. Some of these, because what it is the piece measures 57 inches and the sashing measures 57 inches. But along the way, the pieces that are supposed to line up in my sashing, they're all over the place. And I'm at the point where it just has to get finished. They say, quilts mock your ability in time, so I'll always look back and say, hey, that's when I couldn't measure. So here we are, more easing taking place here. Just kind of pushing it through, sewing right over the pins. I don't know if you can see this, but see there's like 1, 2, 3 bumps. I'm gonna be, see how this works. And just, if it looks like it's gonna be too big of a bump, you take your pin and you separate that area into 2. And take even another pin, don't worry about it, so that it looks eased. This is the trick I used as a garment maker to set in sleeves. Instead of using gathering stitches, we would pin this way. So this just happens, the ends seem to be fine, of course. So there's that seam. I'm going to take it over to the iron and see how it turned out. If it's totally horrible, I'm not going to show you. If it kind of works, I'll give you a peek. Great. Okay, we're back. I figured, what the heck, I don't know what it actually turned out like. As you can see, I still have the pins in it. I've turned on the iron. We're getting it up, the steam up. Alright, seems like it's getting pretty steamy. Let's see if we need a bigger view. Alright, there's the whole ironing board basically. Okay, we take the pins out and see what we got. What do we have? Oh, so many errors in this quilt. This is like a very good lesson learned for me. When you're going to make a quilt, cut out all your pieces not at the same time, but yeah, at the same time. Don't go on to the next piece. Like these were like 3.5 by, let's say 5, 3.5 by maybe 2 and 3.5 by 3, I don't know. Does it look like a square? No. They were rectangles based on 3.5 inches. And I bought an AccuQuilt die to cut out the 3.5 inch strips to cut these so they would be uniform. Don't know how I messed up all the different squares, but I did. This particular quilt calls to press the seams open. Right now I'm just setting that wackadoodle seam I just have sewn. Okay. See, here's where, and an iron really helps. I don't know if you can see that. Let's see if we'll go close. What's going on there is there were gathers, wrinkles in here. So right there is a big one. Use your fingernail, use your steam. You eased it in. That's the only way this quilt is going to actually ever get finished, because I can't keep repairing the squares. Here's another one. Here's another one that's kind of a bump. Use any of your tools. Also, the seam is crooked right there. That may or may not get fixed momentarily. Some of these I sewed, didn't stay pressed open. But I'm really anxious to see how this turned out. But first we're setting this. Oh, here's a number of bubbles. Let me show you. Can you see all those bubbles in there? I don't know if that shows up. They're right there. Well, because the block was too big to fit to the 57-inch portion of the sashing that it's supposed to fit to. So first, we press. The only good thing about this is I'm going to do the long arm quilting, so I'm not sending this nightmare to some long armer who's going to say, remember her name and don't take any quilts from her in the future. So they're pretty much out. I know that my length here is 57 inches because that's how long I cut the, okay. So let's see how it looks and did they match up. I have certain things that need to match or come close to a match. Let's just put it that way. Now we'll open this up. See, let's cut some of these. JP Quilts and Clark or Metler, I don't know what thread I was using here, but they must love me because I must have gone through so many spools. Okay, this not matched, but we're gonna see how many did or didn't match. This was supposed to go straight across. You can see it's wonky. All right, so there's one. Here's the next one. This one's off too, but I know I have 57 inches, and right now, beauty or precision is not what I'm after. I am after finished. A finished quilt that can be used as a quilt. All these threads, I must have sewn these seams 20 times. So frustrating. I am not giving up. You know what? This whole thing seems to be offset. How bad is that? It's going in. I'm gonna flatten this, get rid of these threads. Don't give up on your quilts, ladies. If you're a beginner, I can do nice work sometimes, and sometimes a particular quilt gets the better of me. This has a bubble in it. As I did mention, I'm going to be quilting it, so I'm going to do some free motion style quilting on my little foot over there, or maybe on my big foot. I ordered a new frame so that I can go large. This one might have to go on the large frame. We'll see. But the thing I'm liking about this is this one matches, this one doesn't. Every other one kind of matches. If we're looking for precision, we're not getting it. But we're 2 rows closer to being finished this Frame Your Scraps quilt. That could always be my excuse when it's finished and people look at it. I can always say, oh, this was just a bunch of scraps that I put together haphazardly. There was no rhyme or reason. That's why things go in all different directions and don't match. Well, there you have it. This is Quilting 101 for people who can't measure, are sick of ripping out what they've done. Look at all these threads. Well, I'm going to pull these out, not on camera. So that's where we're at. I just have to do this 1, 2, 3 more times, 3 more of these, and the quilt top is pieced. I have to get there. This can't go in the trash. This has to get finished. Okay, see you next time. Bye. Hey, I have a feeling I'm recording this upside down. I bet I can flip it. Okay. You're not going to believe what I'm doing right here. Had to put this in. Maybe this won't make the final director's cut, but this block was too short by about 1/4 of an inch, and that's what my seam is. So I had to lengthen it or take it all apart and make a new block. So I took a piece of another block that was left over that was too short. Okay. So there is my patch. I don't know if you can, let's see, I have to do this so you can see the patch. Patch is right there. That's so that I didn't have to take that block out, because this is the next block going on. This is the next strip going on. This one's a much better strip now that it's been straightened, except for that wonky area. Don't know what I did. Must have went wild with the scissors. Okay, see you later. So here we are. Ta-da! I'm happy to report that this quilt is all pieced. Is it funky? It sure is. Is it finished? Well, the top's finished. It's, you know, it's all pieced. I have not yet pressed it really well. I got the last row on. I was very happy that it's together and all the rows are there. Yahoo! And it is funky. It is funky in a lot of places, but I'm not pointing them out. You can just see them. So all it really requires is a border. The pattern called for a 1-inch border around this, but now that it's done, I'm a little more enthused to continue working on it, to finish it off in such a way that I think I'm going to put a wider, maybe a 3-inch black, or maybe like a 2-inch black and a 1-inch some funky color from the scraps here, and then another row of, another border of black. And maybe funky binding. I don't know. I am just so thrilled that this thing is finally together. It's 57 wide, 57 inches wide right now, unfinished, and I didn't measure the length yet. Hang on, I'll measure it. Okay, so it's 57 inches wide, 78 inches long. I just had to get on the step stool to measure it on the design wall. So that's what it looks like. And again, always cut your pieces all at the same time. Cut your binding, all those little 1-inch pieces at the same time. Use the same sewing machine throughout the course of sewing the quilt. This one was pieced on 3 different machines. Never good, because my 1/4 of an inch is not a 1/4 of an inch on each of the machines. The most accurate one is probably my newest one. But I was sewing on 3 different machines, like I said. I'm happy it's done. Very happy. So those are all the things not to do, or else you suffer trying to get this thing together, and you're not as happy that the lines are crooked here and there. However, you are happy that it's complete. Keep pushing, keep getting it done, so you don't have to have one of those unfinished projects. When I get all the binding and the backing and it's quilted, I'll take another picture of it and show you how it turned out. Who knows when that'll be, but hopefully I've got my momentum up now, and I'll just finish this off, because I have some really cool projects in those boxes, and I want to start one of the ones I really want to do. So that's next. So thanks for bearing with me on this crazy quilt, and happy quilting.